welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Red Princess. In the frigid north, the land of Almira is ruled by the Almerian Empire, a country which is led with an iron hand. A chance encounter within its capital leads a young traveler to meet the Imperial Princess herself, who just happens to save him from a pair of thugs, thus leaving him indebted to her as a consequence. So this is our first game off of itch.io, I believe, or at least for review. I think we've gotten some games off of itch for interviews before, but first time using itch. And Petty, how is the experience compared to Steam? Petty?
Am I here?
Yes.
I forgot to unmute. Honestly, I like Steam a little better just because it updates any redistributables that the game needs, and you don't have to do it yourself.
How does it compare to the Windows Store?
I guess same thing. Windows Store will update any redistributables it needs. With itch.io, they just give you an exe and you run it. If you don't have the right stuff, you have to go out and find it.
Good to know.
I mean, it's not bad because I know what I'm doing, and it's oh, this error message, cool, I can fix that easily. But someone who's not very computer savvy, if I got something off itch for my mom or sister who are not very computer savvy, I would probably have to come back and help them fix it up.
Duly noted. Anyway, getting back to Red Princess proper here. It is a new fantasy RPG with classical turn-based combat, revolving around a rich story. This game features 2D pixel characters in a complete 3D environment, along with a magical soundtrack. So, yeah, this is looking like something I would have played on the PlayStation 1.
Honestly, Bravely Default is what comes to mind with the art style.
I could see it. Although with this particular thematic setting, I'm thinking more I Am Setsuna.
Our Bravely Default is the first thing that came to mind when I looked oh, I wonder what their inspiration was.
The point is, this wouldn't look out of place on the Dreamcast. Not this clean, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, this clean would be probably Xbox. Earliest you get something like this.
Yeah. Right. Just like I said, this wouldn't look out of place next to the first two Grandia titles. Anyway, this game was assigned to Petty, so over to him for the full details.
So this game overall is okay, but there are a lot of fit and finish problems that kind of feel should be ironed out. Sometimes you can walk towards an object, but if you're running, you'll run through it. I run through tables and chairs and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. It also has the old style RPG issues of there's no quest tracker. So if you got distracted while they were talking, you may not know where you're supposed to go next.
Or more pertinently, you put the game down for a few days,
right.
Pick it back up and go, what the hell was I doing?
That is very much a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they do some interesting things with, Bloom. You can kind of see here just in this battle. Which, that's one of those things, you definitely could not have done this in even the PS2, really. And like once we get to the town, they actually have a pretty cool set piece. That it's just a simple bloom effect, but the way they handle it is actually pretty awesome.
And this definitely shows more ambition than a lot of RPGs we get on the program.
Yeah. And like you can kind of see some of it here with these crystals. They look like actual crystals, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just a basic bloom effect, which is kind of cool the way it's used.
I mean, that shows some artistic chops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's part of the... I think it's here. It might be when we actually get into town.
And that's some fair use of forced perspective there.
Yeah.
Like I said, this game is punching above its weight a bit.
For the most part, there is some, like, if you noticed, sometimes when the model changes in the cutscenes, the, like, static painting one, sometimes the animation doesn't play and there's just a small black box, which that's just something the devs are going to need to iron out.
I think you were telling us in the pre-show that this game is kind of bug-riddled.
Yeah, it's not game-breaking. It's mostly just like fit and finish polish stuff. I haven't had any crashes, and like the worst I've had is there's some missing music and the sometimes accidentally going through walls. And there was the one time in a kind of important cutscene they didn't lock the character. So you could just kind of walk around in the background.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that if this wasn't handled by a solo dev, then we're talking a very small team.
Yeah. And yeah, you have your basic skills, you know, you can poison enemies. You can guard, you can try and escape, but story battles you can't. You get, you know, medical items, and then your basic attack. Basic attacks are free. Skills use MP. You know, we've been to this rodeo before. I haven't got far enough to see if it's the whole party has to wipe, or if your main character, Marin, just has to. So that one I wasn't able to check, so apologies on that. But yeah, music is fine. It's not something I'd look for outside of the game, but it is perfectly adequate inside the game. The story is... I wouldn't call it, you know, story of the year, but I have definitely heard worse, you know, heard and read worse RPG stories. And then let me see if I can get to that set piece real quick, because it should be, yeah, it's just up here. And then, oh yeah, there is a run button. And yeah, this effect they have on like crystalline parts of the castle, that's really cool, even though it's just literally a basic bloom effect. But just the way it's used, that would have blown my mind, you know, 20 years ago.
Retina burning.
Yeah. I mean, it's still cooler than the lens flares even the Dreamcast had.
True.
The Dreamcast loved its lens flares.
So did the Xbox.
Yeah. But yeah, and there's also, you know, your basic shop mechanics. And there's a whole ongoing, like, Imperial trying to take over the area because imperialistic imperialations and whatnot.
Imperialations?
My brain just put a word together, and I don't think it's what I actually wanted to say. But we're gonna go with it because fuck it, the English language.
Fair enough.
And yeah, like, honestly, the game is fine. I wouldn't, I guess, what are we looking at price-wise?
It's a good question. So I guess the game is free now? At least, I'm not seeing the options. Like, there looks like at one point there was a name your own price option here, but it's been disabled. Like, the thing is,
I think you can name your price, which, I mean, for free, it's fine. It's more than fine.
Hang on, let me just hit the download button. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. The asking price is $2. Mind you, this is honor system stuff, so it does have a option to just go to the downloads, and additional contributions at $1, $2, $5, and $10.
Honestly, if you threw $5 at it, that would be well perfect price for something like this.
Also worth noting that even though the main game is done, they are working on a DLC expansion called Imperial Heritage. So there is more of this game coming in the future, however far that may be.
Right. But yeah, if you like old school style RPGs, and like if you liked Bravely Default's art style, you could possibly enjoy this. I don't know how the writing compares to Bravely Default because I haven't actually had a chance to play it.
I mean, I think Bravely Default 2 at the very least is on a bunch of platforms.
I think both of them are on Switch. I just haven't had a chance to grab them.
First of all, there are 3 Bravely Default games. I don't know why they called the third game Bravely Default 2. But the first 2 games,
that's
Bravely Default and Bravely Default 2 and Bravely Second are sequels in different ways and not related to each other. So
it's still dumb.
It is very dumb. That's something we can rant on later, though.
Yes. Anyway, anything else you want to say on Red Princess here?
No, it's a perfectly fine game even if you drop $5 on it. It's at least decent enough. I would say at least throw some money down on it if you can. Because it's not one of those cheaply put together schlocks that I wouldn't pay anything for it, but like even throwing down $5 on it's totally fine.
I mean, this game is legitimate, has more legitimately impressive production values than any Zeboyd RPG I've ever played with. It's not a knock against them. It's just they've never made any striations into like doing 3D or like a proper 32-bit styled RPG yet.
And definitely a lot more going on here than Saboteur.
Anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break as the Golics will be reviewing Risky Woods.